Hey guys, welcome back to the Style and Beauty Doctor here on YouTube. And in today's video, I just wanted to talk to you about how I got rid of, or about maybe 85 to 90% of the way, how I got rid of the discoloration underneath my eyes. So keep watching. So before we even get into this, I wanted to kind of quickly talk about that fact that dark circles is kind of like we just lump everything in this category because not everything is a dark circle. Sometimes it's discoloration. And a way that you can tell if something is discoloration, and I'll come in a little closer so you can see, is if you can, a lot of the discoloration is gone, but there's still some there. If you can move the skin around and the discoloration kind of like moves with it, like you can, like you can still see it, that's discoloration. Typically a dark circle is, caused by broken capillaries underneath the skin, and the skin's very thin, so it's showing through. And then sometimes you can kind of move the skin and you're not really seeing the dark circles anymore. Those are more of like the true dark circles. A lot of us, especially those of us with richly melanated skin, we tend to have discoloration naturally on our faces. Like my eyelids are darker than the rest of my face. I'm not gonna put anything on my eyelids to even them out because it's like not that serious. And then also, ouch. Now, I've always had this discoloration. If I look back on photos when I was a kid, like the discoloration was like right there on my face. Now, what made it more apparent to me was 2018, I got filler. And there's a video on the first time I got filler, which you can check out. I'll link it above and below. But what happened is I got the tear trough filler. And what that did was, because I had under eye hollow, so it looked like, I'll put before and after pictures. Now, this wasn't meant to be a before and after video, so my before footage was not deliberate, but I'll try to put as many examples up so that you guys can see. But with the filler, it filled in volume, right? So my discoloration was kind of doing like this kind of thing, and I'll put some pictures up so you can see. And then once the filler went in and added volume into the skin, into the area rather, the discoloration looked a little bit more concentrated. So instead of the discoloration kind of doing like this kind of thing, it was doing this, like where there was like, it seemed like it was all in one area. And where that came about being a problem was when I was doing my makeup and I would do like my highlighting, before I'd be able to just put my highlighting concealer on and, going about my business and do the rest of my makeup. But with that discoloration like concentrated there, I would have to put a concealer that matched my skin on first to kind of conceal the discoloration, and then put my highlighting concealer on. It's not the worst thing in the world, but since I have access to Dr. Michelle Henry, who's the dermatologist who did my filler, and we've got lots of videos together here on this channel, so make sure you look in the description box, and I'll also link some in the card so you can check those out. Since I had access to her, it's like, might as well ask her what to do, right? So this was in, I want to say maybe 2018, and she prescribed a prescription compound. I don't remember what was in it, but I gotta think that maybe two of the actives were kojic acid and hydroquinone, which both help to lighten skin over time. We're talking about lightening discoloration and fading dark spots and things like that. This ain't no skin bleaching channel, so don't even try to step to me with that. But she gave me this prescription. I remember it being maybe about $80. My insurance didn't cover it, so that was out of pocket. And it was something that I had to keep in the refrigerator, and where I do my skincare routine in the bathroom, they're like so far away from each other. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't consistent with it. There were a lot of times where I would forget to put it on, and I was just like, Lord, this is this is a lot here. And then the prescription expired, I want to say maybe like within 4 to 6 weeks of me getting it. It had the expiration date on it, so it's not like, I was surprised by it. So I was like, oh, wow, well, that's that. Now, it got rid of some of the discoloration with the, my inconsistent use. Even with that, some of the discoloration kind of got, leveled off. It kind of took the edge off of it, so it looked a little bit better, but I still had discoloration. it wasn't bothering me because I was like, you know, whatever, you know, who cares? And who's going through the rigmarole of renewing an $80 prescription every 4 to 6 weeks? Because surely not I, you know? So then this year, not even a month ago, I saw Dr. Michelle and I was like, you know what can we do about this discoloration? Now, if you know anything about Dr. Michelle from watching my videos, you know that one of her phrases that she says is she's a do no harm type of dermatologist. And by that, she means that, you know, she's going to take it easy. She's not going to go all aggressive on your skin at first because that can cause other issues, especially with melanated skin. You know, we deal with things like, you know, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, also keloids. Like, you know, you want to go easy. You're not going to want to just go all in on a deeper skin tone. So she said, okay, I'll prescribe you a different cream. And if that doesn't work, then we'll do a V-peel. And we talked about V-peel in my other video with Dr. Michelle, so make sure you check that out. Now listen now, I'm telling you about this cream, but it was customized for me. This is not for you to go to your dermatologist or go to Dr. Michelle and say, hey, I want that exact cream, because, you know, you want them to look at your situation and evaluate you and, you know, make some recommendations based on your personal situation, because maybe this cream isn't the right route for you, you know? But because I know people are gonna ask, I'll let you know what's in it. So it has 12% hydroquinone, 6% kojic acid, 2% niacinamide, and 1% vitamin C. Now, if you know anything about, you know, skincare ingredients, hydroquinone is considered a gold standard for, you know, fading discoloration in the dermatologist world. Kojic acid is similar in that it does a similar thing that hydroquinone does, but kojic acid is more on the natural side. Kojic acid, outside of a compound like this, if you were to get a skin brightening or a skin fading or a dark spot fading product that had kojic acid in it, it's gonna work a little slower than a hydroquinone based product would. Niacinamide, aka vitamin B3, is a really great skincare ingredient. It helps with skin texture, it helps with evening the skin tone. It also helps in some cases, in certain formulas, it can help balance out oily skin. And then of course we know vitamin C is a brightening type of skincare ingredient. So when I heard this mix, I was like, ooh, some magic is about to go on. This one should also be refrigerated, but Dr. Michelle told me that as long as you keep it in a cool, dry place, it'll be fine. And I think with how quickly this particular compound worked to fade my discoloration, that I probably don't need to prolong the shelf life, because there'll be more product left and I'll have no issue left to cover up, okay? So you first use it once a day, typically at night, and then if there's no irritation, there's no issues, then you can build it up to using it twice a day. I always talk about sunscreen usage. Sunscreen usage is so important when you're using something like this, because what you don't want is for, you know, the suns to undo the work that your expensive prescription medication did. Well, this one wound up being less than $50, so yay. So you put a small amount on the eye. Now I'm gonna come close so you can see. Now, here's the thing, like my own feedback. I was putting this on early on in my bathroom, and the bathroom light is nice, but it's not like natural light. So I was kind of putting it on areas that didn't have discoloration, and then I started to notice that the area started to lighten up. Thankfully, the pigment is coming back, but you know, just be very careful, be mindful of where you're putting a cream if you're gonna get a prescription cream. So I just go in, see I have like a little bit of discoloration here, and I'm just gonna slightly, and then I have some underneath my eyelid there. Now be careful you don't get that in your eye, because ouch. And I just put the smallest amount. I'm all up in your grill. And then sunlight went a little crazy. I also had a ring of discoloration right here on my nose from wearing sunglasses that I felt like was not going to go away with anything that I used over the counter. That has really faded a lot. And then I have a little dark spot from where I had a cystic pimple last month. And then after I put that on, I put on my moisturizer and my sunscreen, and you know, I'm good to go. And then I also use it at night as well. So I'm really pleased with the results. I'd say this happened pretty quickly. I would say that most of the discoloration was gone. It's only been like a 3 to 4 week period that I've been using this, and very pleased with the results. You want to be very careful of where you put a cream like this, you know, if that's the route that your dermatologist takes with you. If this didn't work, Dr. Michelle said that we were going to try a V-peel, which would have meant that I needed a lot of, well, not a lot of downtime, but 5 days is a lot of downtime for someone like me, where I'm like constantly, you know, needing to work and being on camera. So 5 days to me is a lot of downtime, because my skin would have been peeling a lot, and you know, that's just not a look that I'm trying to, you know, come on the camera with, you know, talking about skincare. But the reason why I wanted to do this video is because, one, you know, I get questions about it. I was still getting questions about the cream that she prescribed for me 2 years ago. But also, it's not, the emphasis here is not on the cream, even though I spent a lot of time talking about the cream. The emphasis here is to go see a board certified dermatologist who has receipts that they can work on deeper skin. Again, you want to see a board certified dermatologist who has receipts that they work extensively on deeper skin, because some of these dermatologists who don't understand melanin will jack your mess up, and you don't want that. So I will leave some links in the description box to directories where you can, you know, possibly find some dermatologists of color or dermatologists that work really well with skin of color in the description box. Because, you know, a lot of you guys ask me questions like, oh, you know, where can I find a black dermatologist in Kansas? And I'm like, girl, I don't know. So I'll leave the directory links in the description box, and some of them also will point you to black estheticians as well, because I do feel it's important to make sure that your esthetician is also well versed on working on deeper skin tones, so check that out. But yes, the emphasis here is to make sure that you go to a dermatologist if you are experiencing some sort of discoloration and nothing you're doing is helping to get rid of it. Now, there is a limitation when it comes to over-the-counter skincare products. There are certain percentages that can only be sold over the counter, and for anything higher than that, you do need to see a doctor for a prescription. So definitely see a dermatologist. There are so many things that can be done to clear your skin beyond what you're seeing at Sephora or at the drugstore, or, you know, even at the esthetician's office, because there's certain things that an esthetician can do that, you know, it's capped because they're not doctors, you know? So check out a dermatologist. Also check out my video that I did with Dr. Michelle, where we talked about some common cosmetic procedures. Some of these procedures, now I'm not gonna sit here and act like, you know, things are $50. No, you know, they're up there in price, but some of them, if you save your money, and you kind of like really plan for it, some of these aren't that far out of reach. I think the most expensive thing that we talked about in that video was $1,500. $1,500 is nothing to sneeze at, but you know, it's also not $20,000, so you know. So check that out, and leave me comments below. Have you ever gone to a dermatologist to treat your skin? What did you go for? What happened? What was the results? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in my next one.